Hey, out walking the dog again. They need lots of walks, these dogs. Listening about benefits today. Again, it's one of those many hot potato subjects, sensitive ones. And it is a very difficult one to get right. But we apparently have 9.5 million, is it, not seeking work? And did they say nearly 3 million on long-term sick, with a huge increase since COVID? That's a whole other topic that needs looking into. Why so many people got long-term issues. I think mostly from 2021. Anyway, that's another subject. And we have got into a negative spiral, like a really regressive, reactionary spiral, which if it was a strategy employed by businesses would just never work and they'd be bankrupt in 2 minutes. But so many don't work in the UK, and then that actually is linked then to the need for a lot of immigration of people to fill jobs which tend to be at a lower pay level. But then the kind of result of that is just we have way more people, and there is a lot of that then need extra help with welfare and everything else, and we just end up paying a lot compared to what we make and create as a nation ourselves, using the resources we have. Like, you have to use your resources well for an effective society. So there's many things that have gone wrong. One is the fact, just the way life is, it sometimes doesn't pay to work. You know, you earn more by being on benefits, which is wrong. And that needs looking at. You know, the amount of tax we pay at a lower level of pay, etc. The lowest paid jobs, how to raise that. And I know to begin with it will cost more, but it in general will work itself out. Beyond complex. But a lot of it is mentality as well. So I used to work with a teenage pregnancy charity, and you would talk to the assistants there, the managers, and they would say, oh, we've got this girl today, she's 16, 17, but we know her family really well. We helped her mum, and we also helped her grandmother. They knew generations of families. That was just one example, but they said time and time again they've dealt with generations of people. And this was in like poorer areas up in the northeast. And they said there would be a mentality of never working, never even considering to work, and they would just know how to get the most out of the benefit system, knew exactly what to do. Which is sad. One, it's like a really regressive thing, like you just have these people that aren't adding to society at all in terms of the economics and just taking from it. But really sad in the fact that there's that culture of zero aspiration. Like, you'll never amount to anything. You could never dream of doing a career in something, or traveling, or moving to a different part of the country. You know, aspiration is a massive thing. So that needs to be taught in schools. You know, how everyone can achieve, how there's no barriers, and whatever you want in life, you can go for it. My dog is eating something questionable. Disgusting hound. So there's that kind of mentality, and then you kind of change that with where we used to be in the old days. I always harp on about my granddad, or my dad for that matter, who would be nearly 90 if he was still with us. And in those days, if you had to go on benefits, I don't know if they were called benefits in those days, but just state support, they would be mortified, like lots of people are these days, and they do anything they can not to be, but they would be so mortified and literally do everything they could until they had to take that option. And if they did, they would continue fighting and doing everything they could until as soon as they could come off it. Whereas now there is a lot of people who see it as a lifestyle choice. Some people think that's a good concept and the idea of universal income. But there has been lots of research on that in different countries, and in general it fails. It doesn't help employment, it doesn't help mental health. In fact, all the research I've read in terms of work and mental health, it's a negative association where people don't work. It's really bad for your mental health. And, you know, the idea of just being at home watching TV for a week sounds bliss. You know, I'm running around, I barely get 5 minutes to myself. So just the idea of just sitting, doing nothing at home sounds great. But after a week, you get bored, and then you get a bit lethargic, and you have no like structure to your week or your day, and one day rolls into the next. And, you know, the research shows that going out to work, contributing, being part of a bigger thing, like a team, contributing to your society, your local community, having that sense of kind of sense of pride, so many things, the benefits of working. So personally, you know, our population has exploded. We shouldn't need another person in this country for employment reasons, unless it was a specific individual for you know, some real rare experience, whatnot, intelligence. But in general, we have enough people to work, so we do need to make it work to work. I don't know whether even those that are on benefits and are able to work, they perhaps should work for their benefits, whether that's for local charities, like the government should, or the local job employment facility should allocate them a role. So whether that's harvesting in the local farming, or working for the council or for charity, or they just find them a job that they need to do, that they can get to. That is another problem, is like transport, you know, especially if you live in the sticks like I do. Like I said, there's 1 or 2 buses a day. It takes 2 hours to get to your local town that's only 20 minutes drive away. So where people are able and are physically able, they should work for their benefits. Then obviously, like I said, there is the problem of childcare, because childcare costs so much money. So there should be like state childcare, which dodge, or at least it's funded, so that people can have somewhere to put their children when not at school, so they can go to work. It kind of needs a whole massive joined up thinking, but it is a huge problem. And the more people we take in, especially those who we have no idea who they are, and don't go into high employment, again, there's more people that are dependent on the state, and you just can't keep pouring water into a bowl, and the bowl's no bigger, it'll just flood over the sides. And that is where we're at. You know, and it all again that all then comes back to immigration, and it's just pure numbers. I can't state the fact enough. It's not about race, it's pure numbers and economics. And the public services working, and if you get more people in, you need more public services, and then you need more people in, and more, you know, it runs away with itself. And I do think there is a kind of natural scale of where a country sits happily and financially, economically stable in terms of its population size and its landmass size. And I do think we're, you know, 20 million people over that, but that, you know, it's another subject. But it is not a sustainable strategy to just have more and more people who take from the pot and less putting in. that is a recipe for disaster, and it's one that will never come to a positive conclusion. So yeah, a tricky one. I'm gonna go see what my dog's been eating. Joy.